Hey everyone, Luna Gamer Alex here. Welcome to my game room where I can be found talking to myself. Just want to share my experience of turning on the webcam for the first time on my gaming live stream. And we're talking about way back when. Now, I started doing uh, live streaming of my gameplay activities back in 2010 on Justin TV. This is when we were using that horrible software, the Adobe FMLE. I don't even remember what the full name of that is, but it was so difficult to use. And then we were using EasyCap to capture gameplay footage from the consoles if you want to stream console games. Yeah, it's a whole big mess. It's easier to do these things nowadays, of course, but yeah, I used to be a voice only streamer, I guess a mic only streamer. Um, and for some reason, I decided back then that I wanted to also show my webcam. Because I think I have my feeling was if you really want to be open and connect with your viewers, you have to show them um, who you are, you know, not just through your voice, but also through your mannerism and through your face. You know, I know a lot of people these days they still like to hide behind, say, an avatar. You know, there are a lot of VTubers out there, but I whenever I want to watch someone live, um, um, on Twitch or on YouTube or whatever, um, I I expect people to have a webcam feed just so that I can see them. You know, but I used to be one of those people who, you know, who uh, who thinks that it's okay to not have um, a webcam feed. I used to think that it's okay not to have a mic when, when you're doing live streaming. That's the silliest thing ever because nowadays, whenever I stop by a channel, it's I only watch like a handful of people doing gaming live streams these days. Um, I sometimes I kind of venture around to see if there's any new people I can connect with. But a lot of newer streamers and not to go to like the really popular streamers because when you go to a really popular streamers channels, unless you're one of their friends or one of their special donors, you're not gonna get any time to uh, um, space or given the opportunity to really interact with them. So I like to visit like smaller channels, but some of these newer smaller channels, they ended up being like, say, they use VTuber avatars. They don't have webcams on, and sometimes they don't even have the mic. And I was just like, okay, there's no way. It's hard to communicate this way. You have to be able to communicate directly with your viewer. Um, but yeah, uh, but I can understand people wanting to have privacy. I have a lot of people actually on my Steam friends list, and only 0.5% I would say of them actually use suppose that their supposed real faces as a profile pictures. Because I don't know these people. I've never meet them face to face. I've never talked to them live with a webcam on, so I don't know if those are like their real faces. Anyway, so maybe 0.1%. But a lot of people just, and I don't understand that because y- yeah, I don't get that. But I understand. I understand the privacy portion of that, but maybe it, people just don't want their likeness to be all over the place, I suppose. But anyway, back to my experience. When I finally made that decision to use a webcam, I remember that I was a nervous wreck. So I did some research online, of course, and I checked to see which webcam I wanted to get. It was a Logitech, one of those low tech Logitech cheapy webcams. I believe I paid maybe, I don't know, I think 39.99 for it. It could have been 27.99. I don't remember. But I remember that I didn't want to pay a lot of money for it because I don't know how it was gonna go. You know, I have a bit of a low confidence about the way I look. So I didn't want to scare off people. Once I turned on the webcam, the people would stop showing up to my channel. I mean, they eventually did that anyway. When Twitch got bigger. But yeah, I was worried about that. Of course, I was worried about how maybe people picture me looking a certain way because of the way I you know, the way I spoke to them. So who knows? So, but I remember I was being a nervous wreck on my way to pick up the webcam. It was at a local store, so I decided to just uh, pick it up locally instead of ordering it from Amazon. Because I remember ordering a lot of things on Amazon even back then. But I remember having horrible heart palpitations, like crazy, because I knew that I was really nervous because I could feel my heart just beat beating so hard in my chest. It's like it was about ready to jump out. It was crazy. And I was like, am I doing the right thing? Is why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? But I went through with it. I picked it up, got it home, and I was in my that was the best game room I've ever had in my life. That game room is like 3 times the size of this game room that I have right now. And I had a 55-inch HD display, and the camera was sitting on top of the HD display. A lot of people back then, I think even these days, my setup is usually pretty different than most people when it comes to the cam because I mean nowadays the cam looks like it's closer to me because I did just change my display. Now I have a super ultra wide screen PC display, so it is smaller. So I have to get closer to the display to use it. But I used to before this one, I have a 65-inch. So before I changed my monitor, of course you have the zoom in feature or whatever for these cameras, but usually I would have to use that, and the angle, you can tell that the angle that the camera is usually really far away from me. And back then when I first set it up, I didn't even know that there was a zoom in feature. So I remember like the first couple of days, my stream was showing the whole entire game room. So it was kind of funny because somebody made a mention of that. I remember when this lady who used to stop by my stream was telling me, hey, I could see the whole room. I said, yeah, because it's sitting on top of my TV. But anyway. So this must have been like maybe a year into streaming, probably, because I think I was using OBS when yeah, OBS started like well, close to around that time. There was another software that was in competition with OBS. I remember there's another one. I forgot the name of it. Maybe I was using one of those. But yeah, after a couple of days, I found that my fear was unfounded. So people were still interacting with me, so I guess the webcam didn't scare them off. But yeah, once you started using the webcam to do these live streams or to do your videos or whatever, you expect other people to do the same thing, and I think it's because yeah, it opens up. Well, for me, I want to open up that door or the window so people can connect with me. When you put up a wall, I think it's like you're hiding yourself. It's like you're not willing to, you're hiding yourself behind a wall. You're not willing to be open or be truthful to people. So, but yeah, it was it was an interesting experience though, because I remember I was so nervous. And then after that, you just once once you turn it on, there's just no going back, you know. And now it's just like second nature. Um, for me to have my webcam on whenever I'm doing live stream, whenever I make a video, you know, it's not a big deal. But like I said, I still notice a lot of people maybe um, still don't like the idea of using the webcam. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm an old guy, so I'm sure that people growing up these days, um, they're pretty well. They have their phone, and the phone has a camera, a video recorder, and all that. So they're used to the idea of just getting themselves recorded or streamed live somewhere. But yeah, I wonder what would have happened though if I if I said no back then, you know, because there's still a lot of people out there just not willing to show the world who they are, you know, when they're alive, and sometimes you can't even hear um, their voices. So, but anyway, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.